Right, hello again. Welcome to the third or fourth installment of the Game Over Shop. What would you call it? Odyssey? So, oh boy, do I have some things to talk about tonight. Wait for the Yamada kicking me sound effect to be over. There we go. So, the Game Over Shop. Where do we begin? You might recall that originally I thought that the Game Over Shop, having things in it and being accessible like this, was based on the number of kisses you had. That turned out to be completely wrong. I got the desire to try and find these addresses that the Game Over Shop is accessing to decide what is in it. What random part of memory is the game looking at and going, ah yes, we will pull these random values from this part of memory and therefore this decides what items are in the Game Over Shop. So, for example, I believe the top thing here, though I can barely see it, is Michelle's card, like the information card. If you take a look at my little handy-dandy cheat engine thing here, let's see, that's value 11, and that is slot 1. And if we were to change that, let's say from 11 to 100, it is now the best radish. If we were to make it 63, that is the value for the love ink, 64 for the love paper, and 65 for the love pen. Now, of course, this is using Cheat Engine to edit it, but basically, I found all the addresses, and I was shocked because I really thought that these addresses could be that it could be random every time. I didn't know, but it turns out, no, it is a specific part of, I don't know if you would call it memory, but it is these specific addresses that you can see here. And it is always these, no matter what you do. I believe it's different on English because we've never seen the Game Over Shop have anything in it on English. So it might not be possible to get items in the Game Over Shop on English, but I mean, who knows? Hasn't really been thoroughly tested. These values go on for quite a while. We will get into the specifics in a bit. But I stopped counting them here at like 105, but I have seen them keep going. And the furthest I have seen is what I believe is about slot 220. Originally, I thought that as long as the addresses here had a value in them, that the Game Over Shop would just keep going. But that also seems to be random. I have seen the values all the way up to 220 and beyond here be populated, and the Game Over Shop only be 18 slots long. So that's a different conversation and is related to some other pseudo-random factor that decides how long the shop goes on for. Though I think I've mostly got it sorted, it shouldn't be a problem. So by finding these addresses, I realized, wait a minute, now that I know the addresses, I can just play through the game from the start and see what puts things in them. Like, I can figure out how to manipulate the Game Over Shop at long last. And like I said, to my shock, it has nothing to do with kisses. And it has everything to do with 3 specific models in the game, 2 of which are characters. So that the first thing that I discovered that populated the Game Over Shop was Evil Dandy, like specifically Evil Dr. Dandy, who comes out at night. The way this seems to work is whenever a model is loaded into the game, so like on screen or just barely off screen, all the values that affect the Game Over Shop shuffle, and whenever that model is no longer loaded, the values stop shuffling. I mean, I don't know if shuffling is the right word, but you know, they start to move and change. So Evil Dandy comes out of the hospital at around 1:30. If I were to enter my house right about now, it would also technically load him in. I think it's because we're both inside buildings and there's some weird way that things work with buildings as opposed to outside. So take a look at the values over there. The zeros, all those zeros, they're about to change. And just like that, those values are moving. And it's because this boy right here is on screen. So, and now that he is off screen, the values have stopped. So, very strange thing just happened there. Normally, what I had seen before, maybe it didn't work because he's all the way down here, I don't know. But I noticed a very consistent bit of manipulation for him before, which is as long as he is out and about, If you save the game and load it, even if you completely reset the console or the emulator and the values go back to 0, loading in the save while Dandy is prowling around like this sets all of these values to a consistent set of them. The love ink is pretty much guaranteed no matter what you do manipulating these values. For some reason, these addresses love the number 63, so you're pretty much guaranteed to get the love ink, but the love pen, which is unfortunately the single most important one that we would need to skip Scarecrow Field, is not very common. Dandy's manipulation of these addresses seems to end at slot 36, but the other two instances, with these two exceptions here, I just ignore these. For some reason, these two always get set no matter what you do, and they're always at these values. Dandy only affects the first 36 addresses here, but the other two affect everything. The other two go all the way up to and beyond 220. Weird I wasn't able to show it off there, but normally if you save the game and reload that save, it always sets those values to some pretty decent ones. Which also, by the way, it has a very good track record in my testing of letting the game overshop be like well over 150 slots long, which is really good. At the very least, I'll be able to show off that Dandy save thing in the mock run if I do a mock run here in a little bit. There's a few quick things I need to note about the way that manipulating works here. So for the most part, manipulating this isn't really possible because it seems to involve not only the entity's animation, but it also seems to involve the camera angle. So if you're in a state like this where the camera follows you, it's pretty much completely random. Here in this alleyway especially, there were some interesting results. I did get all 3 love items at once, but it seems to be mostly random. There's also a manip where you can stand here as he's coming out of the hospital at the start of the night. Just like a second or two after he walks off screen at the bottom left there, you can walk away and go into your house and you always get the love ink and the love paper. And obviously with normal Dandy here it doesn't work because this isn't the same model as Evil Dandy. Thing number 2, which is definitely an interesting one. The addresses are about to be populated around about here. And there it is. It is this goddamn rope. Of all things, we go from Evil Dandy to a rope. This rope is currently not animated. So because of that, the values that it puts in these addresses seems to be consistent. Which is, I guess, both a blessing and a curse, because it doesn't seem to be very useful. But you'll notice that unlike with Dandy, we don't stop at 36. The values here just keep going. And they just keep going. Well, going from slot 9, that's like 167, 224. So if we go down, the values start to change because the rope is now animated. And it stops. And when you look at that, it's still 167 and 224. Spawning the rope in by simply looking at it and going down the rope result in the same set of values for everything. But if you go up the rope, the values change again, but they are not the same. So there seems to be 2 consistent variants of this rope that you can get. One factor that seems to be consistent across all of this is it doesn't matter what you have done prior. These values will always be left as whatever the last frame of animation of the object was. So it's not possible to manipulate these values by going up and down the rope constantly because they will always end up exactly what they should be. I assume because the last frame of animation for descending the rope is always the same, and the last frame of animation for ascending the rope is always the same, and so therefore the values that it leaves off on are always the same, so you can't stack them up or do anything crazy like that. And one thing that's worth noting is, if I were to go and use Evil Dandy manip, it would still only change the values up to 36, so you could use this to set the values past 36, and then do something with Dandy to only change those values. In other words, based on the 3 things that I know can affect the game overshop, you would want to do Dandy last because he's the only one that has a limited range. Because if you did if you did this one or the next one, then you'll just completely change whatever you did before and overwrite it with new values. Dandy only going up to 36 might mean that something else in Long Lifetime corresponds to the remaining addresses and can be used for manip. But I have looked for it and I have not found a single damn thing. Similarly, I have found nothing for Funny Bone City. There might be something inside the factory itself. But the factory, getting into the factory and underground residents there are so far out of the way that they're not likely to be useful in any category, even if you can manipulate something there. So the final thing that is able to manipulate the game over shop is Man Spider, this underground resident in Scarecrow Field. Him being out and about works, but what I've noticed works really well is checking his hole like this. So you see, as soon as the thing loaded in there, the values started changing. This is not completely consistent, I'm sad to say, but it does seem to have a higher chance of giving the love pen than anything you can do with Dandy. It's also a lot more consistent and fast, just to quickly check the hole like that and then be done with it. It's possible to use Evil Dandy to guaranteed get the love ink and the love paper, so then you would just need to pray that you got the love pen from Man Spider. The only other problem then is making sure that the game over shop is long enough. The thing I mentioned about loading a save game that has Dandy wandering about seems to very consistently let the game over shop be very, very long, as opposed to any other methods where it seems very random. So an interesting thing about Man Spider is that his values up here near the top seem to be very similar and very rarely, if ever, change. So in this slot here, he always gives value 93, which is the speed upple. So if the game over shop is long enough, you can also get the speed upple, though to be honest, after doing the game over shop, the game is so close to being complete that the speed upple might not even be worth the time it takes spent scrolling to get it, which is kind of funny. Let's see here, we're looking for value 65, and it tends to be somewhere around here if it's going to be anywhere. Nope, we did not get it from him. One thing that is quite nice is that if Man Spider does give you the love pen, it doesn't seem to ever appear in the Dandy range, which means you don't need to worry about Dandy accidentally overwriting the love pen value. Maybe it could appear there by sheer crazy luck, but it tends to appear much lower down, so I don't think that's a concern. One really big thing worth noting is that these values persist after a game over. You could load saves before you start a run, and you could set up all of these values and even test them out, like actually get the game over shop before you start a run and see if you've done the manip correctly. And you could have a game over shop that has exactly what you need ready to go before the run even starts. Now, I don't know if that would be allowed. That's a big question. On one hand, having to do the manip in a run where it's random could really suck. On the other hand, doing the manip in the run makes sense because it's a part of the run, so why would it be okay to do it before the run? I don't know. I actually genuinely don't know. I am very stumped. I'm sort of leaning towards allowing pre-run manipulation if this ever does end up being used outside of emulator. Genuinely not sure though. I could go either way on that. I said that earlier, right? Like, as long as you don't reset the emulator or the console, the values will remain the same. And they only ever change if you run into the three sources here. Evil Dandy, Man Spider, and a fucking rope. With all that said, there's one other important thing I need to mention, which I probably should have said sooner, which is that this still does not work on console. The manipulation might work on console. The whole surviving the game over shop process that involves sleeping twice at the end, as I've mentioned in previous videos in this saga, that does indeed crash on console, at least on PlayStation 2. There is still hope that the PS3 might not crash. In fact, that is my only hope at this point. So until either I buy a Japanese PS3 or somebody who has the game on PS3 tests it out, we will not know if this whole thing can be pulled off on official hardware or not. But it definitely works on emulator. There was a whole thing about how I updated my emulator and then suddenly emulator started crashing on the second sleep, and then because of that it made it really easy to test and figure out how to prevent the crash, and for some strange reason saving the game prevented crashing. Like, as long as I saved the game in any given session, it would not crash on the second sleep. Unfortunately, after testing it last night, I have some footage of it which I can put up here. Unfortunately, the game still crashed after the second sleep. Basically soft locked, you know, just a black screen with nothing else to it. So very, very unfortunate, but there's still the hope that PS3 will not crash. Knowing now how the game over shop works with this, the ways that it can be manipulated, even though it is far from completely consistent, there is definitely more we can do with this. I really want to know what could happen to all kisses. Obviously, it would be a lot better if the manip could be done before the run starts, but even if it has to be done during the run, I think it's worth it in both cases for like all kisses and any percent. But one thing I want to find out tonight is how much time would this save if done in a run, because it can be done on emulator now, so there's that, but if it can be done on PS3, I want to see exactly what kind of time we can expect. I'm hoping for sub 1 hour, because I think, even if it's by the skin of our teeth, I think sub 1 hour might be doable with this route, with a route that uses Game Over Shop, and I have created a route that uses it. There's two routes actually. There's a much more consistent 17 HP route that involves kissing 3 extra underground residents, and then there's a 12 HP route that would involve needing to get cicadas from trash cans, and you can also do early Suzuki in that route. So, very painful. Do not plan on doing that tonight. But I am going to do a sort of fake run here, just to find out what kind of time we can expect. So, I've got a timer there at the bottom left of the screen. The prologue normally takes about 14 minutes. I put it to 14 minutes and 30 seconds, just for the sake of being completely thorough and not overestimating the speed of the new route. I'm going to do a run through timed after the end of the prologue. Once we get to the Game Over shop, if I don't have the love pen, then I will simply cheat it in, because this isn't a proper run. So if you're interested in the route, then I'm going to demonstrate it now. But I think that pretty much covers it for the discoveries of how Game Over Shop manipulation exists. Oh, there is one more quick thing. So Man Spider there comes out at 3 PM. He goes from the hole here to over here. So there's actually a sweet spot where you can stand right inside this shrubbery when Man Spider spawns. Then he is loaded in when spawning, but once he has finished spawning, he will no longer be loaded. I think this is another pseudo-consistent manip. I don't recall it being very useful. We can find out right now because it's about to be 3. So the value should start changing. There they are. And then they just stop because Man Spider is no longer loaded in. I don't think I've ever seen this spawning sweet spot strat ever give me the love pen. But it is cool nonetheless. Right, time for the mock run to begin. That's normally where we split for the prologue. Oh, there we go. The only reason that we are finishing the rock incident is to go and kiss Sniper. If you haven't kissed Sniper, you have to wait 4 times in a row till 1 PM in order to get to Suzuki. And I think I did the math. I think it's like, if each in-game hour is 30 seconds, then I believe it was something like 14 minutes. I don't think it takes 14 minutes to finish off the rock incident and go and kiss Sniper. And on top of that, we also want to go see Man Spider for the Game Over Shop manip stuff. So it kind of works out. What isn't fun is that Sniper is the worst part of this route, because you have an hour and a half of in-game time to kiss him. And sometimes he does not like to Viva. But we have to wait for the train to Scarecrow Field here. We can't get to the train, or we can't get to the station fast enough to read any comics without missing the train. So instead of kissing Yodzilla or Mr. Music Box before completing the rock incident, it's faster to kiss Tin Signboard here, since we have to wait anyway. In the previous Game Over Shop methods, I used Jam Track in the park, but it turns out Yodzilla is better. Yodzilla does the same amount of damage as Jam Track, but he's around at a better time, and it saves some hassle doing camera change stuff with Dream Girl, and it means you don't have to ride the swing one time so that you can set it up to deal damage and stuff like that. There's a bunch of finicky stuff anyway. To buy some extra time before Sniper disappears, he actually has to get into position still. So by inspecting this, we can freeze time and give Sniper some time to get to where he needs to be. There he is. And now we just gotta sneak over. He could Viva in this period of time, but I mean, if he does, you might be able to walk on over to him fast enough. Once you see him start to stand up like that. I got him first try, no problems in this mock run, and it's not going to be fun whenever I can't get him at all in actual runs. If I decide to do actual runs on emulator, or if it does end up working on PS3, which I keep saying, but I'm going to keep saying it because I want it to be real. Something that's very, very good for HP backups is this, because it heals 1 HP. And you really want to have 3 HP whenever the slide kills you, because if you only have 2, then there's a very high chance that you won't have enough time before you die to open your inventory. And then you'll just get a game over, and you'll be screwed. Alright, here's Man Spider. Right, it's important to get really far away from here before 3 PM. Because if you don't, then Man Spider will spawn in and possibly mess up the manip that you just did by checking the hole. Also, you don't need that fresh mint or whatever it's called there. You definitely do not need it, but it's nice to have just in case the lavender isn't enough. You know, Man Spider comes out now, but he is very much deloaded, so not a concern. So if you can do the manipulation beforehand, then this stuff won't be needed. Because I'm only buying these comics to set up for Dandy. Oh, this is a part of the reason why I got the mint, or the lavender stuff. Because now, just in case the weekly comic kills me, which it has a high chance to do, I can eat this. And if I still need 1 extra HP heal during the glitch, I will have the fresh mint. So it's for this exact circumstance that I got both of those mints. Oh god, I ripped that too. Not that it matters, we don't need them after this. Just need to read them both once. At this time, Dandy is already out and about. But it doesn't really matter. Because we're going to do the save manip. Oh my goodness, that was close. Right, game saved, and now we die. So once I load this save, the values that you can see in Cheat Engine right now should change. And specifically, one of the values always ends up being 41, I think it is. So please tell me this works, because it worked every time before. Bingo! And yet you can see right there, I got slot 25 is 41. So these values seem to be completely consistent. There we go. So by doing that manip with saving, dying, and reloading the file, you should always get the same values laid out from slot 1 to slot 36. And outside of the Rope and Worldly Desire Temple, this is the only other instance of like completely consistent value manipulation that I'm aware of. Right, time is looking pretty good. We're 40 minutes in, and we're going to do the glitch now. And this might be the first time I've ever done it with Yodzilla, like, and shown it. Because before I really thought Jam Track was the best shot, but Yodzilla is a good boy as well. And now here's the hard part. Getting this pause right, because it seems to be almost kind of random. Got it! Holy shit, this would have been perfect. I'll eat this. This would have been perfect for an actual run. Right now, after the sound effect stops. And now we gotta mash, because we're about to die. Ooh, perfect. Hopefully not too slow there. Perfect. And now because we did it with Godzilla, Dream Girl is already here, so no silly camera stuff to worry about. So you line up with this last square and then hold up and right. And then you're pretty much there. There we are. Timing this is a bit difficult, but... Perfect. I don't think you need to buy that, but I prefer opening up the game over shop by clearing this dialogue. Is just how I do it. It's the way I've gotten used to doing it consistently. Doesn't lose any time anyway. Bingo. Let's see, what do we have here? Right, that is the love ink, so we buy that. And we should also have the love paper. Yep, that's the love paper. Oh my god. This is the exact same look I got before. In my... Is this actually consistent? Because you noticed how, like, the, I just got the love pen, but it only said, like, the pen part of the name was cut off in the game over shop, but I've seen that before. So this might be consistent. Or maybe it's just emulator, maybe, I don't know. But I thought I was going to have to edit the values. I didn't have to edit shit. I just got it. Without touching cheat engine at all. So this has been a... Outside of skipping the prologue, this has been a completely legitimate... Oh, there's the speed upple. This has been a completely legitimate thing. Right, wait. I just legitimately got everything out of the game over shop. Holy shit. Crap. Wait. Gotta update my notes. Okay. I'm invisible right now, but that's because I ate the speed upple. Now I gotta do the running part. Hot damn. So it's 40 steps down, 40 step sounds down whenever you are only able to walk. Oh shit. Perfect. So if you're able to run, it's 25 steps down, and if you're only able to walk, it's 40 steps down. Then you just hold right. Actually, wait, it says hold left in my notes. That's wrong. Hold right. I can't believe it. Holy shit. I really hope that's consistent. So anyway, there's the first sleep. If you get a decent moto collision to skip the ending, then it takes like 6 minutes from entering the park for the final time to time stop. So I think sub 1 hour is confirmed here. And whoa, hello. Bingo. Alright, so this is the second sleep. This is, as I've mentioned in the past, this is where it crashes on console. Let me correct myself, on PS2 specifically. PS3, I will hold out hope. If PS3 ends up working out or not working out, maybe I'll like put something in the description or comment something. Just to not outdate this video too much. See, why can't this happen on console? I mean, I think I can tell you why. It's because we now have texture corruption. And I've never seen texture corruption on console, like ever, because it tends to involve the game over shop. So I can only assume that that is why. Hello game. I mean, I'm supposed to have texture corruption. This is just deloaded. Poor boy should have a funky square beneath his feet, but he doesn't. This isn't the texture corruption I'm used to seeing. In fact, it doesn't even look like texture corruption. Weird. Right, now we just gotta hand over the 3 love items and then head to the park. Then I will have a very damn good idea of what kind of times we can expect to get with this route. It's definitely faster now, 100%. Oh, there's the texture corruption, alright. Ah, the nightmare. The nightmare of my dreams. Alright, that is all 3. And weird side effect, once you complete the stolen letter set incident, Dad normally tells you about it in the paper, but for some reason, if you do it like this, if you don't actually do the story and you just get all 3 items from the game over shop, Dad doesn't tell you about it, so that's a nice little time save on top of everything else. 6 minutes from right now. 59 minutes. Now, to be fair, this is the much safer and a little bit slower route. And it's also on emulator. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. I forgot to actually make the love letter with Suzuki, god damn it, wait, pause the timer, stop. Yeah, we'll restart the timer there. That was very stupid of me. See, this is why I give the extra 30 seconds at the start. And also because of the faster loads on emulator. That probably doesn't account for them. Anyway, that little blunder aside, this is still roughly accurate. This was actually perfect up until that last little blunder. Oh my god! That's poor boy's eyes. They're everywhere. Oh god! This is a nightmare. Pretty much 54 minutes on the dot. But if you do the faster, more risky route that skips 3 kisses and uses cicadas and only has 12 HP, then even if you have the slower loads of console, I think sub 1 hour is doable. 100%. I think it's doable with this route. I've learnt what I needed to now. This is it. Sub 1 hour is definitely doable. We are falling into funny texture. And now for Moto Collision, which I figured out the exact steps for to try and make it more consistent. 43 running steps down after you break out, and then 18 down left, or 63 walking steps down, and 27 down left. Come on, get it quickly. I want this to be accurate. And I can always pause the timer until I get it. That's actually a good idea. Oh, never mind! Oh no, I missed it. Oh, here it is. Close enough. That was really fast. Didn't even need to pause the timer for it. If I had actually done this from the prologue, then this would be this would have been a real damn run. I'm kind of mad now. This would have been a pretty good one, but I mean, it's a proof of concept. Oh my god. God, this is so close to sub 1 hour in its own fucked up little way. My eyes. My eyes. Wait, this is sub 1 hour. Holy shit. Too bad it isn't real. Too bad I have cheated in video game. But I have learnt what I wanted to. This is beautiful. I want to look like this at my wedding. Eyes bugging out and everything. Holy shit. So it is 100% certain now. It is certain. This means sub 1 hour. It's a bit closer for comfort than I thought it would be, but 100%. It's not just doable, it's more than feasible. It's definitely going to happen. If this does end up working out on PS3, we're probably gonna split the categories, I think. Turn current any percent into probably something like no GOS, no Game Over Shop, and just make a new any percent category that is this. That's assuming that it happens on PS3. If it doesn't happen on PS3, if PS3 also crashes and this is an emulator-only category, as stupid as that would be, we're probably gonna have to make something for it. Oh my god, the Heno Heno face is on Purboy's eyes. You think Purboy's face is scary? Wait till you see the star of the show. It's just coming right up. This game is fucked. This game is done. It has been an honor of breaking this game over the years. The only thing we have left is prologue. If we could find a way to make the 14-minute prologue shorter, that would be amazing, but looking into how the prologue works with Cheat Engine, it doesn't seem likely for a number of reasons. The biggest one being no damage items, and even if there was damage items, there's... yeah... it's complicated. I won't talk about it here, but it doesn't seem likely. And it's sad. But I don't, you know what, I can live with the prologue, considering that because of Motoko finding Moto Collision, and now because of the Game Over shop pretty much existing, like, it's pretty much done. This game is oshimai, this game is fucking over. We can survive the Game Over shop, it can be manipulated. There might be some specific manipulation that happens with just doing this route, or maybe just going from a fresh boot of the game into a new game to eventually checking Manspider's hole and then doing the dandy load. I don't know. But something seems scarily consistent about that, and I am not going to question it. Because I actually did the manip in that mock run. Like, I still can't believe that the pen showed up with a screwed up name, yes, but it worked. This whole thing worked. What is going on? All I know is this game... this game, I apologize for nothing. I enjoyed every moment of figuring this crazy shit out. I adore it. Like that's it. Like, I thought Moto Collision was gonna be the final holy grail. This is like the ultimate final holy grail. And now the super secret ultimate final holy grail is breaking the prologue. Anyway, thank you for watching. It is so hard to believe that pressing square and triangle at the same time all those years ago, when I did it for the first time with Policeman, has led to this. And this might be the end of the road. Beautiful.